You're watching the SEC on ESPN, and from Commonwealth Stadium here in Lexington, they've been tailgating all morning, getting set for the Cards and the Cats and the Party Crasher from out west here in the state of Kentucky. 7th-ranked Louisville and Teddy Bridgewater are in town. The first of several Heisman hopefuls that Kentucky will be facing in the next month or so. Bridgewater leading the nation with those 9 touchdown passes. And the talk inside the program, trying to take it one game at a time. But around the program, Joey, the chatter is about a championship.
You can't avoid talking championship when you talk Louisville. The Sugar Bowl win versus Florida last season catapulted them into the top 10 this season. And you look at the schedule, it's kind of weak. You think national title, you think they can run the table. We'll see what the voters do.
On SEC opponent today, this may be their toughest test of the season. John Wallace will kick it away. Louisville won the toss, they deferred, and Kentucky asked for the football, and they will get it. Javis Blue bringing it out of his own end zone, and he's taken down around the 17-yard line. And welcome to Kentucky and Louisville. Beth Mullins along with former Ohio State great Joey Galloway. Joey, of course, the big story today will be Teddy Bridgewater, but also a start for Michael Dyer this afternoon in the backfield.
And Michael Dyer, you heard of him from Auburn, BCS MVP 2011, didn't play 2012, ran into problems. There is no better fit in college football for Michael Dyer than here at Louisville because they have so much veteran leadership. They can handle a guy like that in the locker room.
Those guys will start out the day on the sideline, and that's where Kentucky would love to keep them. Under the first-year head coach Mark Stoops, Raymond Sanders gets the carry. They will run the air raid offense with a couple of quarterbacks. Maxwell Smith, the starter, is their pocket passer. Jalen Whitlow is their dual threat guy. Smith, returning from an ankle injury a year ago, had a 3-touchdown performance last week, and his first attempt nearly picked off, incomplete. That was actually a heck of a play by the wide receiver Alex Montgomery to strip it loose from Gerard Holloman.
And you can see Holloman sitting down, makes a nice play. He fools the quarterback. You have got to see that guy in a zone. He breaks on the ball and almost makes an interception.
3rd down and 3 for Kentucky. On the ground with Sanders, and he is going to come up short of that first down marker. Needed to get out to the 28, and he's got the 27. And a 3-and-out for Kentucky will send their punting unit on. Cats are 1-1 on the season. They lost their opener to Western Kentucky and bounced back nicely with a big win over Miami of Ohio. For Mark Stoops, his first head coaching job after 23 years as an assistant. Most recently did a terrific job turning around that Florida State defense that now has the Seminoles back in the championship chase. Kai Dela Cruz signals for the fair catch at his own 36-yard line, a 37-yard punt, and a penalty flag is down back near midfield. And Charlie Strong is incensed. The Louisville head coach almost came out to the hash marks.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 49 on Louisville. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it'll be a first down.
And you get some of this in a rival game. Emotions will be high. Both coaching staffs talked about we've got to manage our emotions. This happens early in these types of games. Guys will get a little chippy. Normally officials let some things go in this situation. This one they called.
Blake Ramsey whistled for the foul, so that will set them back. Charlie Strong in his 4th season at Louisville, coming off of that huge win over Florida, where he spent so many years as the defensive coordinator. They won a share of the Big East title, now spending a year in the American Athletic Conference before heading off to the ACC next year. As Teddy Bridgewater steps out there for his 25th start, and first appeared on in relief as a freshman against Kentucky a couple of years ago. He's 2-0 against the Cats. Play action to Michael Dyer, and Bridgewater going deep. Overthrows his intended receiver, Damian Copeland. Nate Willis with the coverage, and Joey, right away we see them testing the untested cornerbacks.
Absolutely. Interesting call for your first play call. You got Dyer in the backfield. Everyone's looking, when will Dyer get his first carry? And we go deep down the sideline. Did not connect, but it makes the Kentucky defense and defensive backs respect the ability to go downfield.
Perhaps most impressive for Bridgewater, that 76% completion rate for Teddy. And there is Michael Dyer, the junior from Little Rock, had 11 carries through his first 2 games. And they are looking to up the ante with their running game, and Dyer's first carry gets some short yardage.
And that's Alvin Dupree on the tackle, maybe the best, most active defensive player for Kentucky, near the line of scrimmage, makes a big stop, sets up this 3rd and long. Louisville was able to get off the field in 3 downs. Let's see if this Kentucky defense get off the field the same way in 3 downs.
Making his first start since the Alabama game when he was in an Auburn jersey a couple years ago. And now an opportunity for the Cats to come up with a stop and get Bridgewater off the field. Dominique Brown is offset. 5-man rush trying to get on Bridgewater. Teddy eludes the pressure and throws it away.
Nice defensive call. They look like they're going to bring 7, 8 guys. A few drop back in the coverage. They still bring 5. Able to drive Bridgewater out of the pocket, and that's going to be key today.
And one of those guys that was chasing Teddy is down. An injured Wildcat. We'll be back. Kentucky and Louisville right after this. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, and Kentucky and Louisville just underway. A punt for Kentucky, a punting situation coming up for the Cards as the Cats defense gets Teddy Bridgewater 3 and out. Dante Rump was the injured player who was able to walk off for Kentucky after that 3rd down play. And this is Javis Blue with a chance at a return. And not much doing. Good coverage by Louisville, and the takedown back at the 22-yard. Well, Maxwell Smith, the sophomore from Granada Hills, California. 3 long touchdown passes last week, including an 88-yarder, the highlight in their big win. And a big step up, though, in competition here today. And Smith to the air, and Blues got the catch. The leading tacklers to the 31 may have had the first down and then gave back a yard, a pickup of 9. And here comes the up-tempo.
You better get upfield versus this defense. They fly around and they get to the ball, and that's why it's 2nd and 1 as opposed to a first down.
The give is to Sanders, the cutback. Stood up at the line of scrimmage. Let's check out our impact players, and could be a big day for Darian Miller, the left tackle, against those DNs.
Absolutely. The best player on this Kentucky football team, left tackle Darian Miller, will have his hands full with 2 active defensive ends, Marcus Smith, Lorenzo Malden from Louisville.
Preston Brown, their middle linebacker, and then their safeties, Akeem Smith and Calvin Pryor. Very strong up the middle is this defense. And now our first quarterback change, Jalen Whitlow, the sophomore out of Prattville, Alabama. He'll try and run for the first down. The ball is out, and Louisville's got it. The turnover inside the 30 on Whitlow's first touch, Joey, right after the QB change.
And that is part of the problem when you bring a guy off the bench, insert him into a situation. It's 3rd and 1. First time he's touched the ball all day long. Runs up into this Louisville defense. Marcus Smith puts a hit on him, causes the fumble. These guys are good up front. They're active. They change their looks around a lot. It's tough to block them because you don't know where they're coming from. And it's just a tough situation to send Whitlow into the game. First touch on a 3rd and 1.
What a terrific job. Marcus Smith not only got the strip, but the ball. And Joey, we just talked about him as an impact player, and he's made one.
And you give the ball back to Teddy Bridgewater inside your own 30 early in the game. They've been very good scoring points in the first quarter, 28-0 versus their opponents. This is no way to start for Kentucky on defense.
They went for the deep strike on the first play of the game. Let's see if they go that way again. To the ground, and Dyer, and he muscles his way inside the 25 to the 24. Eric Jackson with the tackle, one of 7 new guys starting lineup for this defensive unit this year.
And you can tell when you on film, when you watch them in the game, they've had to stay sort of vanilla on defense. So many young guys that just have not played a lot of football, so you can't give them too much. You got to give them what they can handle.
Single setback. Copeland to the near side. Devontae Parker, another threat to the far side, and now they'll bunch everybody at the line with a couple of tight ends. They'll sweep it to Dyer, looking for a block. The second effort gets him inside the 20. It'll be 3rd and 2. And our impact players on the other side, the wideouts against the corners.
Yeah, the wideouts. They have 6 touchdowns between Copeland and Parker in 2 games, and they have 2 new corners, haven't played a lot, Tiller and Willis. They're going to have to stand up and make plays on the outside if they have a chance to win today.
Parker's got the size advantage as well at 6'3", 210, the junior and the hometown guy out of Louisville. So here it is, 3rd and short. Bridgewater out of the pistol. Gets a block from Brown, incomplete. Robert Clark, the junior from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, wasn't ready for it.
If there's a bright spot for this Kentucky defense, it's been their 3rd down conversion defense. They're only giving up 11% of their 3rd downs, and here you can see maybe a miscommunication between Bridgewater and his receiver in this situation. People usually blame the receiver. I like to blame the quarterback.
How about we give the credit to that Kentucky defense? You said they've been good at third down. How about 2nd best in the country behind Florida? This is a 36-yard attempt for John Wallace, who's 3 for 3 on the season, and sneaks that one just inside the right upright. A couple of 3rd down stops for Kentucky on the day, but the turnover costly. A little too close to home. Whitlow on his first attempt, stripped and recovered by Marcus Smith. And that gives John Wallace the opportunity to tow it through. 3-zip Cards. Rivalry that was dormant for 70 years, and then they got it going again back in 1994. And Charlie Strong has certainly energized the Cardinal program, and Mark Stoops in just his first season doing the same for the Cats as well. A lot of excitement around this rivalry again, and Blue, after the hesitation, brings it out. And that was a wise choice across the 40 to the 43. Here's Reese Davis in the
7-0 Michigan.
Thank you, Reese. Well, we still got a donut next to the first downs. We've had 4 possessions and yet to get it 10 yards for either side. Maxwell Smith back in at quarterback. The 1 turnover costly for Kentucky, and the pass just out of the reach of Ryan Timmons on the seam route.
On these seam routes, as a quarterback, you got to get the ball down there quick because the safeties are back there. This one a little lower, and Timmons makes a play. But I like the play call. It's going downfield. It's loosening up these defensive backs. You've seen earlier they were sitting down. They jumped the route, almost got interception. Let's go downfield and loosen them up.
Maxwell 9th best in pass efficiency in the country through the first couple of weeks. Dumps it off to his running back, Raymond Sanders. And there we go, the first down of the day for either side. We got an injury update, Paul Carcaterra.
On the injury front, Dante Ruff, senior defensive lineman. He hurt his right shoulder on that first defensive drive. He is questionable to return. He's getting x-rays right now. Keep you posted.
Thank you very much, Paul. Trying to deliver as he's hit. Maxwell Smith looking again for Timmons. Lorenzo Malden was bringing the pressure again. Those defensive ends have been disruptive here in the first quarter.
And now they're starting to bring a little pressure, trying to get after Smith, get him out of the pocket. He's looking pretty comfortable, completed a couple in a row. Let's get after him, get him out of the pocket, put a hit on him, and make him think about the rush, and maybe he won't be so accurate downfield.
Defensive coordinator Vance Bedford said, we want them in 2nd and long all day. Getting a good stop there on first down, making it 2nd and 10, and the receiver screen is dropped. A.J. Legree, the sophomore from Fort White, Florida. This is a very young receiving core outside of Javis Blue and DeMarco Robinson.
And it's as simple as he tried to run before he caught the ball. When you run a screen play as a receiver and you're coming back toward the line of scrimmage, you see so much. You can see all the linemen and where they're going, and at times you start to try to set up those blocks before you catch the ball.
3rd and 10 for Smith. Looking for Sanders, who couldn't hold on. The pressure again coming up the middle this time from Marcus Smith. So on that possession, Kentucky does not make the quarterback change after Whitlow fumbled on the first possession, and they needed to throw the ball instead of run it.
But offensively, they did get a first down. This will give them a chance to pin Louisville's offense deep in its own territory and let their defense so far has played very well, have not given them a first down. Louisville had the ball inside the 30. They held them to a field goal, got a 3 and off the first possession. So defensively, they got to be pretty excited about their chances here, especially if they pin them down inside the 10.
Landon Foster back to punt from his own 45. Headed in the direction of Eli Rogers, who will let it drop inside the 5, and Kentucky couldn't keep it out of the end zone. 44 yards on that punt. Let's go back down to Paul.
Well, Bet, despite early season success, this Louisville offense is not satisfied. Quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, he's done his part with 9 passing touchdowns. But for this offense to take it to another level, the running game has to get going. Only 78 yards last week. Offensive coordinator Sean Watson told me a few minutes before the game, the running game needs to take pressure off the passing game. Why the heavier dose of Michael Dyer? He has a better grasp of the offense right now, and the Cardinals are in search of that go-to running back.
Well, Paul Dyer, 3 carries for 10 yards. It's Sonoris Perry now who will get a turn at running back behind Teddy Bridgewater, who is 0 for 3 throwing the ball thus far. And Perry hit in the backfield and thrown down. Bud Dupree and Avery Williamson. The senior out of Milan, Tennessee, the first guy on the scene.
Avery leads this team in tackles. They expect this from him. Man-to-man, one-on-one. Can you make a tackle, or can I make you miss as the running back? Very nice play by Williamson, one-on-one. Sets up a 2nd and long. Defensively, Kentucky looks very confident right now. They look like they know what they're doing. They look like they're the quicker team. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Dante Rump, by the way, remains out of the game. Tristan Johnson is in at defensive tackle, as Paul Carcaterra reported earlier. Bridgewater out of the backfield. Perry lunging towards the 30. It'll be 3rd and short, the first completion today for Teddy, the junior out of Miami. 17-7 as a starter. 2 of those wins over Kentucky.
And if you're Kentucky's defense, those are the completions that you'll give up to Teddy Bridgewater. He throws his ball 5 yards deep into the backfield. Now, he gets a nice gain out of it, but if you can keep him throwing those short passes out to the flat and you can rally as a defense, you got a chance to make stops.
Jason Hatcher, number 6 in blue, coming on as an extra linebacker. He's to the left side. Dupree with his hand up to the right. They're both coming. And again, they are able to meet the ball carrier in the backfield. And it will depend on the spot, which comes up short. 4th down. And another Kentucky stop on 3rd down, where Louisville has been so good this year.
This defensive line from Kentucky is just getting penetration, just unblocked. Darius Smith breaks through the line. You have to account for the defensive end. There is no running play that the defensive end isn't accounted for. That time Louisville makes a mistake. Smith, huge tackle, huge stop, get off the field.
So Darius Smith has been in opposing backfields all season. 4 sacks on the year, and a disruptive play there. And the punt takes a nice Louisville bounce, but then it hit one of their guys at the 24-yard line, and that's where the Cats will take over after the 47-yard punt and a 3-0 Louisville lead. The Commonwealth Stadium here, the Governor's Cup. Louisville 3-zip over Kentucky, taking advantage of a turnover to get a short field goal. Otherwise, these 2 high-scoring offenses, Joey, so far have been contained by some aggressive defenses.
They have, and I think if you're Coach Stoops, more than anyone in the building, you are extremely excited about the way your defense has played in these first 10 minutes of this game. Again, they had the bad turnover, give the ball away inside the 30, and they hold them to a field goal. You're ecstatic if you're Kentucky.
I guess we shouldn't be too shocked with two former outstanding defensive coordinators now as head coaches. Maxwell Smith looking deep. Incomplete as he overthrows Alex Montgomery. But Mark Stoops has certainly re-energized the faithful here in Lexington. And in some ways, Joey, they are where Louisville was a few years ago. And now a much more experienced team. Mark Stoops dealing with a lot of youngsters trying to figure things out still for UK.
Absolutely. When you look across this roster, you look at in the two deep, there are so many guys that have never played football. This is their third game ever playing versus a very veteran Louisville team, but they've played well early on.
On third down, the draw to Jonathan George. Out to the 30-yard line, but that will still be a couple yards shy. Well, they've had their struggles over the last couple of years. They've brought in a good freshman class, some junior college guys. They have what ESPN.com says is the best class they've ever had coming in next year. And youth is served quite often in these resurgent programs.
And the first thought you have is, you know, what do you do with all these young guys? You talk to Coach Stoops, he's pretty excited about the young guys because they weren't here for the bad time. So it's much easier to teach these guys Coach Stoops' way and this coaching staff's way of doing things.
The class next year, by the way, includes a commit from the number 6 ranked QB in the country, Drew Barker. And on the punt, and immediately taken down was...
Not missed a beat with Brett Bielema leaving. They've still run the ball extremely well in their first 2 games.
And Clowney and company will be hosting Kentucky in a couple of weeks as the Cats have a brutal schedule lined up in front of them. And Bridgewater on the run. The awkward dive out across the 45-yard line and a first down for the Cards.
Need to work on. He might didn't work on that slide. That was not very impressive. But the coverage in the back. We talked about these defensive backs. No one to throw the ball to. Nice coverage. But Teddy has the ability. He's athletic enough. Not a running quarterback, but has enough athletic ability to reel off 20 yards if no one's around. And then a nice sloppy slide there at the end.
18 yards on that pickup. Now Michael Dyer returns to the backfield. Here is Dyer with the spin at the line of scrimmage. There just has not been much there for the running backs. Let's check in with Reese Davis. This could be a big day for the Big Ten, Joey. An opportunity to pick up some nice non-conference wins, something they struggled with last year. Bridgewater, the pass is complete out in the flat. Devontae Parker, and then the ball out at the tail end of the play, and Kentucky gets its first takeaway. Ashley Lowry, the junior from Cleveland, Georgia, got the recovery after Tristan Johnson, Rump's replacement, knocked it loose.
And here's what you love about this play. Johnson is a defensive tackle. He is 10 yards downfield making a play. That is terrific hustle. That is just a defense that has come to play today. They're getting after it. When your defensive tackle is that far downfield, you get plays like this because receivers don't expect it.
That's the senior making the extra effort, who's coming off the bench as the second stringer today. Big hit on Parker to jar it loose. So each side with a turnover. Louisville bringing some pressure. Smith well protected and completes the pass to midfield to Jeff Baudet. And then he felt it on the big pop from James Burgess. Solid on that hit from the sophomore from Homestead, Florida. Half of their starters, offensively and defensively, are Florida guys. First down and more for Kentucky inside the 30. And churning down to the 25 is Ryan Timmons.
And that's 2 nice play calls by offensive coordinator Neil Brown. They brought the blitz both times. They picked it up. They kept their running backs in to block, and then they released late, and they were lost in coverage. 2 really nice play calls.
Gain of 25, and Neil Brown, the offensive coordinator, quickly getting those guys to the line. Quickly to the air, looking for the end zone. Good coverage out there on blue as it's knocked down by Charles Gaines. The sophomore from Miami getting the start today over Jermaine Reed.
And as a receiver, quarterback will tell you, I will throw this ball up and give you a chance. It's your job to either you catch it or no one catches it. Do not give up an interception in that situation, and that's a nice job of doing that by the receiver.
Sanders to the 20-yard line. That'll set up a 3rd and about 6. Preston Brown, the leading tackler for the Cardinals, gets the stop.
And I would expect Kentucky to be relatively safe here. You're in field goal range. It's a 3-0 game. If you can't get it, be safe and kick a field goal.
Looking left all the way, Montgomery. He would have been short anyways. That's, I think, 3 drops or bobbles for the receivers today for Kentucky.
Yeah, have not been very good on 3rd down for this offense so far. That route is short either way you cut it, but that's a ball that needs to be caught if you're going to have success. But again, it's a safe play. You keep the ball, and you have a chance to be tied up towards the end of the 1st quarter with this Louisville offense. You got to be pretty excited if you're Kentucky.
Joe Mansour is a perfect 4 of 4 on the season. This one from 37 yards out to try and tie it up. So both sides able to capitalize on a turnover here in the 1st quarter. With 2:23 to go, we are even at 3 apiece. And it started with the hustle play from the defensive lineman, Tristan Johnson, coming back to make the hit. And it leads to Mansour knocking it through. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. And the rivalry here in the state of Kentucky, the Cats and the Cards. Each side scoring off of a turnover, getting a field goal, and the Kentucky defense has done a nice job thus far on Teddy Bridgewater and the Cardinal offense that is 16th best in the country, scoring 46 points per game. Yeah, I'm quite sure. If you'd have told anyone 4 possessions, only 1 first down for Louisville's offense in this game versus a Kentucky defense so young, they'd have said, are you crazy? But seriously, this defense today has showed up, and they've played well at the line of scrimmage, and they've covered well in the background. Robert Clark on the return out to the 19-yard line. Here's Reese Davis. Thank you, Reese. 2:16 to go here in the 1st quarter, and the Louisville offense back out there. Bridgewater and the I formation behind him. We've seen 3 different running backs for Louisville trying to find 1 or 2 guys. And it's been good pressure on Bridgewater so far today. And I think that's the goal. You know, when you talk about Teddy Bridgewater, he's been able to stand in the pocket all season long and deliver passes downfield. If you're Kentucky's defense, you've got to get after him. Drive him out of the pocket, make him keep the ball in his hands. They gave up the long run, but he did not release the ball. And those are kind of plays that make a quarterback uncomfortable. Michael Dyer, the play action to him, and Bridgewater with Johnson in his face gets the sidearm pass away for the 1st down out to the 39-yard line to Gerald Christian, and a pickup of 16. And that's Tristan Johnson getting the pressure on Bridgewater, making him get out of the pocket. But Bridgewater in this situation able to deliver one downfield for a big 1st down. That is a great throw on the run to a guy coming across the field on the run. That's why Teddy Bridgewater is different than most quarterbacks in the country. He can make those plays and make them look easy. Scouts Inc. has him listed as the top quarterback this year, and perhaps the 2nd pick in the NFL draft if he chooses to leave early and a flag down.
False start, offense, number 18. The 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
He will have the opportunity all year, Joey, to put up some big numbers when you take a look at their schedule, and certainly a chance to impress a lot of the voters. Absolutely, and when you talk draft, when you talk Teddy Bridgewater, if there is a franchise quarterback in the draft, those guys don't last long. Maybe not even to number 2. Those guys a lot of times go number 1. They might like him in a place like Oakland, do you think? Across the middle to his high school teammate out of Northwestern High in Miami, Eli Rogers, and Bridgewater 4 straight completions. We will see Louisville 4 more times at least on the ESPN networks. That's Central Florida game and Houston games that you're talking about right there, Joey.
Yeah, those are the only 2 teams left on their schedule that are undefeated. We're only 2 weeks in. That's going to hurt Louisville down the road if these teams continue to lose. We're talking, can they get votes? Can people put them in the national title conversation? It's going to depend on what that schedule does moving forward.
Their FBS opponents just 7-11 through the first couple of weeks of the season. Bridgewater make it 5 straight completions. There's a short gainer for a couple more out to the 48-yard line. That'll set up 3rd and short. And once again, Kentucky, 2nd best in the country defending 3rd down.
Absolutely. And if you're Louisville's offense in this situation, you would absolutely love to be able to hand it off and think that you could get 2 yards. But they have not been able to do that today because this Kentucky defense up front has played so well.
Kentucky fans know they're good on 3rd down. We'll wait till the start of the second half to see how they do. 3-3 tie. Start of the second quarter, the teams are a combined 0 for 8 today on 3rd down, and it's 3rd and a couple for Louisville. Bridgewater to the air, he's got it. First down to Parker inside the 35 of Kentucky.
And that's the first 3rd down conversion for Louisville in a situation of 3rd and short. And usually in a 3rd and short situation, like I said earlier, Louisville would love to be able to run that ball, but they have not been able to against this Kentucky defense. And if Kentucky can continue to do what they've done up front, dominating this offensive line from Louisville, then they're going to make Louisville's offense one-dimensional, and then you have a chance to stop them.
Louisville just 8 rushes for 31 yards in that first quarter. Here's Michael Dyer again, making his first start for Louisville today, and not much there, trying to get to the left side. Zadarius Smith with the stop. Paul Carcaterra's got an update for us.
Good news on the injury front, Beth. For Kentucky, 99 in black, Dante Ruff. He came out of the locker room. They tested his shoulder. They gave him x-rays. Right now, he has a right shoulder brace. He was testing. The trainers are seeing what he can do in terms of leverage in that defensive line spot. But that's huge news because they're so young and inexperienced on the defensive line.
And he had off-season shoulder surgery. Did the 3-year starter. They affectionately call him Uncle Rump. One of the veterans for the Cats back on the sideline. This is Bridgewater going to work down the middle, incomplete. Good help coming from the safety Dixon, who made sure that Copeland couldn't get to it.
And Dixon is another newcomer to this defensive secondary. Makes a nice play. This ball's a little high. Dixon does a nice job of making a play on the ball. A lot of guys get in trouble in that situation because they take the shot at a defenseless receiver. Dixon in that situation keeps his head on the ball, eyes on the ball, and that'll never be called.
Bridgewater 6 for 10 now through the air, and here comes another 3rd down situation. The Cardinals a gaudy 69% on 3rd down through their first couple of games, number 5 in the country. But they are just 1 for 4 today. Bridgewater under duress. Teddy trying to get out, and he can't. Zadarius Smith with his 5th sack of the season. But Dupree was coming from the other side too, Joey.
Dupree, one of the leaders on this defense. He's quick, he's athletic, and you can see the speed rush. Gets around so fast. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't have a chance to look downfield. And then once you make the quarterback turn his shoulders, that's when the rest of the defensive line better be there. Zadarius Smith, another defensive end, very active guy, gets the sack here. But this play is made by Dupree, the defensive end.
Timeout called by Kentucky with a punt coming their way. Well, they knew things were changing here in Lexington when 50,000 people showed up for the spring game. And that is carried over into the regular season in a huge rivalry matchup with Louisville today. And they are hanging tough. And the punt into the end zone will come out Kentucky ball. Here's Reese Davis. Thank you, Reese, for
thanks, Reese.
The peek on the other platforms, Joseph. I know you're always interested in those. Nebraska out to the lead, as is OU. Maxwell Smith, we've seen him, I think, for all but 2 plays after Whitlow fumbled the other quarterback early in the game. And the receiver screen for a good game, Javis Blue with his 2nd catch.
And it sets up a 2nd and 1, which this will give the offensive coordinator, Neil Brown, a chance to think, can I go downfield in this situation? Because we feel confident in our offense, we can get 1 yard. So maybe this is the time they take that shot. It's man-to-man coverage outside for Louisville.
Brown with the air raid offense. He is a Hal Mummy disciple. And another drop. That's 4 today for Kentucky. I mentioned, of course, a Mummy disciple because Kentucky fans will recall Mummy's debut back in '97 was a Kentucky win in this series over Louisville. They also have a win over the 9th-ranked Cards back in 2007. So it certainly is not unprecedented in this rivalry. Big underdogs coming in today. Brown most recently at Texas Tech. Also involved in the whole Mike Leach, Cliff Kingsbury family. Short gain, and Louisville might have come up with the big stop right there. Spot. And if it's inside the 30, that's going to be shy.
And that is a big stop for Louisville's defense, because now what happens is Kentucky's defense, who has played extremely well, but you have to worry about their opportunity to get a rest on the sideline. You have these 3 and outs. Your defense does not get a chance to re-energize, recharge, catch their breath. They got it back on the field. They played well, but let's see how long they can keep it up.
Kentucky 0 for 6 on 3rd down today. And 4 times they've had the ball. It's been 3 and out.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Penalty will cost them 5 yards. Louisville sending 2 guys back deep to receive the punt. Eli Rogers and Kai Delacruz around their own 40-yard line. Foster now from the 15 just does get it out. And Delacruz with the fair catch at his own 36-yard line and a 40-yard punt. Tied at 3, 11:24 to go in the first half. Teddy Bridgewater on the other side. Game going on today, tied at 3. 14 games in a row for Teddy Bridgewater with a touchdown pass. Last time he didn't throw one was against Kentucky in the season opener last year. And so far, they've held Teddy touchdown in check. Play action for Bridgewater, who's been sacked once and almost intercepted at the 40 as he threw that into a lot of blue jerseys. It hit Ashley Lowry right on the number 5.
And Louisville would love to run play action pass, but their running game has not gotten started yet. So when you fake the handoff to the running back, there's no reason for the safeties and linebackers to come downhill because they haven't been able to run the ball. Neil has to make this play. These are the plays that a veteran squad like Louisville makes and a younger squad like Kentucky doesn't make. But if you want to take that next step, you got to make those kind of plays because there's not many opportunities to create turnovers in games like this.
10 rushes for 25 yards. The running game not helping out Bridgewater. And a miscommunication with his receiver. Thrown out of bounds, looking for Damian Copeland. Kentucky fans gotta love some of those grass stains, Joey, on the white jersey. They are dirtying up Bridgewater a bit here in the first half.
Yeah, they've been the first team able to get at Bridgewater and make him uncomfortable in the pocket. You can see 6 of 12 for 69 yards. That's not the Bridgewater we've seen the first 2 weeks of the season, but give this credit to the Kentucky defense because they are getting to Bridgewater, making him uncomfortable, flushing him out, and also getting there for a sack.
And now he's looking at a 3rd and 10. Gun. They handle the 4-man rush this time, throwing across the middle, incomplete. Pass was broken up by the nickel, Blake McLean, intended for Robert Clark. And another injury in the backfield for a Kentucky defender. And this time it's Zadarius Smith who had the sack of Bridgewater earlier in the ball game. We'll take a timeout.
Welcome back. And we talked earlier about Kentucky's ability to get after Teddy Bridgewater. And you see what they try to do to the defensive ends that have been very disruptive. They chip them on offense. Running back takes out Zadarius Smith on one side, and then Alvin Dupree is chipped by the tight end. That's the way you slow down defensive ends that are speed rush guys. You leave an extra guy to chip them on the way out, and you can see it, and that's why Bridgewater could stand in the pocket and deliver that ball.
Smith was able to walk off the field. And on the punt, it will bounce for Louisville, and end over end inside the 15 to the 13. Here's Reese Davis. Thank you, Reese. That is one of those special locales when you make the trip to Army and Mikey Stadium. And Stanford trying to get their time clocks back in order. 1st and 10 for Kentucky. And the end around of Blue stuck at the 15. And I believe the ball was whistled dead. Yeah, the linesman there saying that it was down.
This Louisville defense is tough to run sweeps against because they're so fast, they're so active. A lot of times they'll switch their defenses from 3-4s to 4-3s. You don't really know where they're coming from. So it's tough to run sweeps because they're so active and they're so fast.
Well, it did appear that Blue was down, but they do what they want to do and make Kentucky face a 2nd and long. That's what Vance Bedford talked about. Sanders gets out across the 20. It'll set up a 3rd and short after the 5-yard gain. Preston Brown on the stop. It's a defense, too, by the way, today that has really only had to deal with Maxwell Smith. We've only seen Jalen Whitlow a couple of times. They are not switching their quarterbacks in and out as much as they did last week.
This is an important 3rd and 3. You've got to let your defense rest. Offensively, you need to stay on the field a little longer.
Blue is the motion man. They give us to Sanders, and he is walloped in the backfield by Lorenzo Malden. 0 for 7 now on 3rd downs for Kentucky. And this will be their 5th 3 and out.
And Malden just shoots across the gap, gets in front of the tackle, unblocked, gets to the running back. And again, defensively, Louisville gets off the field, and maybe more importantly, they're going to get the ball here with very good field position, maybe around the 50.
Brandon Foster hunting deep in his own territory. The high kick to Rogers with the fair catch. And they will start out with it around midfield after the 34-yard punt. How are your Pittsburgh Pirates doing, Joseph?
Well, good. We're about to game back.
Over in the
Lost
NL.
one last night.
We've talked about how Louisville wanted to establish a running game to complement Bridgewater's passing attack. Another handoff to Michael Dyer, and Mike Douglas with the tackle. Dyer now 6 carries for 14 yards.
They just can't handle this defensive line. They've played extremely well up front. They've penetrated. They've been disruptive when it's been in the pass game. And again, they set up these 2nd and longs, and it takes away the play-action pass from this Louisville offense, which is a big part because there is no success running the ball.
UK is without Dante Rump and Zadarius Smith, who have both left the game with injuries. And Bridgewater to Copeland, who makes the catch. And the spot will be about a yard shy. It's going to be 3rd and short. 9-yard pickup to Copeland. The senior out of Bradenton, Florida, has got 3 touchdown catches through their first couple of games, including 2 against Ohio.
And I think normally if I'm Louisville, if I'm any offense and it's 3rd and short, I would like to run this ball and pound it up the middle. But they've had no success. So you got to look out for the short pass, something out in the flat, maybe in play action.
They'll go with the I formation, the fullback Butler in front of Brown. And Brown will follow the fullback, and he'll pick up the 1st down inside the 40 to the 37. And a 6-yard gain. Well, the concerns for the ground game, they were running about 138 yards per game. They did not have a guy with 100 yards. Not in one game, but in 2 games.
And they've been absolutely outstanding on offense in the first 2 games. The only problem, if you needed to find one, was the run game wasn't there, but they passed it so well it didn't matter.
Dominic Brown gets close to the 30-yard line, and this is a big opportunity for Brown, because if you're looking at Perry and Dyer ahead of you on the 3 deep, and they want to get it down to just 2 guys carrying the load, then Brown would be the odd man out, unless he can change his fortunes here with a nice showing. The junior out of Cincinnati, who had 91 yards against Kentucky here a couple of years ago, his career high. On 2nd down, they'll stay with Brown on the ground. Lowers the shoulder and picks up another 1st down.
You can see the ground game starting to pick up a little bit, but you begin to wonder, we talked about earlier, the Kentucky offense has not been able to stay on the field for very long, so you make Kentucky stay on the field defensively, and you wonder when that starts to wear you down. Not much depth. Rump is already out injury, so you bring in a backup already, so there's not a lot of depth there, and you make these guys play a lot of snaps without getting a rest. It'll start to matter if they pound the ball at them in the run game.
Kentucky's offense with 5 3-and-outs today, and Brown working against that tired D. Now starting to chip away yardage, and they're going right into the heart of the defense behind John Miller and Jake Smith.
Offensive coordinator Watson, first thing he says, we have got to run the ball. You can tell today their attitude has been, we're going to hand it off, we're going to hand it off, we're going to hand it off, and then we'll try to throw a pass if we have to. But they've made a commitment to try to run the ball, and this is the first series that they've found some success. And again, I would expect a run now because they've had success on this 2nd and short.
14 passes, 15 rushes today for Louisville. And another carry for Brown, got away from the first guy and then wrapped up by Zadarius Smith, who was back out there for Kentucky. After getting injured in that last series, Smith with 3 sacks in 3 consecutive games, including the one at Bridgewater earlier.
It sets up a 3rd and short. And I hand it off again. I try to go to the left side of that line. This time, Brown, Miller, Smith, the center. Those are your leaders. Those are the guys that have played the most. In this situation, 3rd and short, I go left with the run game if I'm Louisville.
It's been 5 consecutive runs, Joey. And they'll go back to the eye with Butler, the fullback. Bridgewater will keep. Follows the stack forward, and a 1st down, Louisville. And it's been Dominic Brown in the backfield that has been helping out Teddy Bridgewater and Charlie Strong on this possession.
And I would expect to see more run game. They've had some success. This is the first series they've been able to do it. I would stick with it in this situation. You're in the red zone. See if you can punch it in. It develops a confidence in your offensive line and your running backs.
Brown 7 carries for 31 yards. They'll go with a couple of tight ends again. And they'll go with Brown again, swinging it out to the right side. Brown trying to get to the edge. And a nice tackle down around the ankles by Bud Dupree.
Nice play by Dupree. Strings out the block, stays on his feet, stays active, keeps his arms out locked so that he can make a play, figures out which way the running back is going, and then he's athletic enough to get off the block and make the tackle.
32nd play of this 1st half for the Cardinal offense, and the 9th play of this drive that started back on the Cards' 48-yard line. The damage being done on the ground. Brown stuffed. The initial surge was by Williamson, who stood up the offensive lineman, and then Trayvon Pascal brought him down.
And again, this defensive line from Kentucky stands up in this series and sets up a 3rd and long. These are tough calls anywhere in the field, but inside the red zone, when you have the in-line as the 12th man on defense, it makes it even more difficult because your defensive backs don't have to backpedal very far, and you need to find a way to get 10 yards.
They've converted on 2 3rd downs in this series. Sonoris Perry now in at tailback. Bridgewater looking to the end zone. Parker is open, and he hauls it down. Teddy Bridgewater to Devontae Parker, his 4th touchdown catch of the season, and the 10th toss for Bridgewater on the year.
When you have a receiver like Parker, he doesn't have to be open because he can get up. He has great hands, plays the ball well between 2 guys, 6'3". He has the advantage, and Bridgewater knows that. Puts it up high where only Parker can get it. Parker goes up, squeezes the ball, takes the hit, holds onto it, touchdown.
3 third-down conversions there for Teddy Bridgewater and the Cards, and their first touchdown of the day. As they started to wear down the defense with the run, and then Bridgewater back to the air as Parker goes all out to make the catch. And Teddy touchdown is pleased. Now Louisville fans are pleased on the road after the touchdown. Going 11 plays, 52 yards, most of those on the ground as they chewed up 6 minutes and 19 seconds and finished it off with the touchdown pass from Teddy Bridgewater to Devontae Parker. And we've been talking about how that Louisville offense was starting to wear down the Kentucky defense a little bit on that last drive. They've had the ball for nearly 18 minutes, keeping the defense out on the field for the Cats. And Javis Blue will down it in the end zone. Here's Reese Davis. Donuts weighing him down a little bit in the big house. Perhaps a bit of a Notre Dame hangover as well. There's Maxwell Smith off the fingertips of Javis Blue, and a flag down on the coverage as they went after Terrell Floyd. He had that big interception in the pick 6 against Florida in the Sugar Bowl last year.
And I think that's a nice call.
Pass interference, defense, number 19. 15 yards penalty, automatic first down.
Not a lot of contact there, but what defensive backs will do, well, they will grab the offhand of a receiver and force him into trying to make a one-hand catch. And a lot of times officials don't call it. It's a call that I think needs to be made more often.
Charlie Strong was livid. That was right in front of him, and that gives the Kentucky offense just its 2nd first down of the half. Maxwell Smith on the run, out across the 45 to the 47. Getting
really,
away from Lorenzo Malden.
Really nice play by Maxwell Smith. Goes to throw the ball out to the hitch. It's not there. The defense is there. Kept his cool, brought the ball down, and makes a positive gain. That's important to set up a 2nd and long. I mean, a 2nd and short.
Trips go to the boundary side. They'll run it with George, and not much there. Good penetration again, coming right up the middle.
There's a
for
minute
Louisville
50 seconds.
And Brandon Dunn.
Minute 50 seconds left here in the first half. If they don't get a first down here, this is leaving a lot of time for Teddy Bridgewater and that offense to have a chance to put more points on the board. 3rd and short, they have got to convert this for their defense, for their offensive confidence. They have not been able to turn these 3rd and shorts over. They have got to eventually get one.
They have not converted on a 3rd down, and there is some confusion for Kentucky, and they're going to have to call a timeout with the play clock down to 8 seconds, and they were not ready to go. Still some learning going on the Kentucky side, and first-year head coach Mark Stoops. Just 13 rushes for 27 yards for Kentucky on the ground. They've tried on a couple of these 3rd and shorts to run it up the middle, and it hasn't worked.
That's about 2 yards a carry. They'll take 2 yards here. Get a first down.
They're trying to snap it quickly, and now Maxwell Smith will step back, check the sideline on 3rd and 1. With a very tired defense that wants that O to stay on the field. Smith on the rollout. And Smith's pass incomplete and a flag. And it looks like defensive holding on Louisville.
Holding. Defense, number 91, ineligible receiver. That's a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Marcus Smith apparently grabbed onto a receiver trying to break off the line. 3 first downs for Kentucky in the half, 2 of them courtesy of Louisville penalties.
And no one is more relieved than the defense. They needed the offense to get that first down so they can get a break on the sideline.
Smith, catch is made in the spin at the 25. Down inside the 15, the true freshman, Jeff Boudet. 28 yards on the pickup.
And way to get yards after the catch. Make a guy miss in the open field. Make a veteran safety miss in the open field. And Hakeem Smith, very good tackler, made him miss. Get the ball down into the red zone. Important. Get points on the board here with 50 seconds left in the half.
Sanders, and the ball is loose, and it is recovered initially by Louisville, and it's squirted free a second time. And Louisville comes out with it. Preston Brown.
This looked like a mix-up between the quarterback and running back. Ball doesn't look like it gets completely into Raymond Sanders' pocket as he's leaving. It hits him on the hip, squirts out of there. It's unfortunate if you're Kentucky, a chance to get on the board. 10-3 game. You're in this with the number 17 in the country. Having a chance to put some points on the board going into half would be a huge confidence booster in this situation. We'll see how they react now coming out for the second half.
All right, so Teddy Bridgewater and Louisville with 3 timeouts in 43 seconds. Will they push it down the field for more? And the handoff to Sonoris Perry out to the 21. And they will not use a timeout.
This is interesting. You have a veteran team. Now, if you're a young team, you run the clock out, you get into the locker room, you say we're up 10-3, you're happy with that. A veteran team, a Heisman hopeful quarterback,
who can throw it about 60, 70 yards if need be.
Who can throw it with veteran receivers outside to protect you versus a turnover. I don't know. I may try to drive this ball down. You got a couple timeouts, but they chose to take it into the locker room. Maybe that's why they get paid the big bucks.
Louisville with a touchdown pass. Teddy Bridgewater to Devontae Parker, 13 yards. The difference as both teams were able to kick field goals off of turnovers early on. And a critical giveaway late in this first half by Kentucky, driving down into the red zone. Here's Paul Carcaterra.
Coach, you finally get a drive together. What do you tell your team about that missed opportunity?
Oh, we just got to hold on to the ball. Like you said, we finally put a good drive together, moving it good. We got to protect the football.
Louisville averages over 46 points a game. Why has your defense been so successful in this first half?
We're playing good. We're playing hard. We're in the right positions. Even on the touchdown, we were in great shape. They went up and made the play. We didn't. So we just got to keep on fighting.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Paul. The 7th-ranked Louisville Cardinals leading the Kentucky Wildcats with the Governor's Cup on the line here in Lexington. 10-3 our score at the half. Now let's join Reese Davis, Mark May, and Lou Holtz for the Lexus halftime, who now has a chance for his club in the second half to pull off the big upset. And the Cards will elect to bring it out of the end zone. And they will come up short of the 20-yard line. Robert Clark with the return will bring Bridgewater back out. Let's check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Well, thanks, Beth. I just caught up with Charlie Strong, Louisville head coach. He's not thrilled with his offense. He said lack of balance, lack of rhythm. They need to set up the pass with the run. They're not establishing it with only 62 yards rushing in the first half. The other side of the ball, he's ecstatic. He thinks the team's playing great. They're disrupting the rhythm of this up-tempo air raid offense from Kentucky.
Well, you're absolutely right, Paul. Just 5 first downs in the first half for Kentucky's offense. Teddy Bridgewater's numbers in that first half, he was 8 for 15, 91 yards, including the 13-yard touchdown pass to Devontae Parker, which is the difference on the scoreboard. And Michael Dyer, who got his first start for Louisville today, is back out there to start the second half. Ineffective on the ground through the first 2 quarters, and he will pick up about 5 yards there as we check out the first half stats. The time of possession, costly perhaps to Kentucky on that last scoring drive. Their defense out there a long time.
Very costly, and we talked about it. Defense just got worn down, got tired at the end of the first half. But other than the one drive of 9 plays that they give up the jump ball touchdown, defensively they've been terrific.
Dante Rump, who was hurt in the first half, stays out of the game, the defensive lineman for Kentucky. And Parker towing that sideline out close to the 30, and good enough for a first down for Louisville. That's the 4th catch today for Devontae.
And play action pass is so important to this Louisville offense, but it comes off the run game. They couldn't do play action pass early because they had no run game, but towards the end of that second half, versus a tired Kentucky defense, they started to get the run game churned up, and you can see the effect when you fake the handoff and roll out. You will have guys open if you can run the ball.
Play action with Dyer, and Bridgewater flushed, throwing it down the sidelines and out of play. Good coverage downfield. Mr. Cobble was the guy that was coming in Teddy's face.
And that's very nice coverage. Louisville only sends 3 receivers out, and they're all covered up. Doesn't give Teddy Bridgewater anywhere to throw the ball. They kept the safeties back, the corners up, so you got to try to punch it into a soft area of zone. Nothing there. You can tell at this point when Louisville's only sending out 3 receivers, they are worried about Coach Stoops and their defensive blitz is coming at him because they were able to get home early in this game and get Teddy Bridgewater on the ground.
2nd and 10 for Bridgewater, who has some grass stains on that jersey. He was not on the ground much through their first 2 games. Wide open across the middle, and another first down for the Cardinals out across the 40 to Kai De La Cruz. Teddy's been very democratic this season with his distribution to a lot of different guys.
That's the mark of a really good, talented quarterback that knows the offensive system, knows where every receiver is supposed to be. If the first guy isn't there, I'll take the second, I'll take the third. And that's when you get into a situation where you don't know who to cover, and the quarterback spreads it out because he knows the offense so well. 6
different guys have caught those 10 Bridgewater completions today. Again, he'll drop it off underneath, and the good check down by Bridgewater, and they'll pick up another 9 yards to Dominique Brown out of the backfield.
And this is the Bridgewater that Kentucky has to be worried about. He's standing in the pocket, he has time, he's comfortable, and you can tell he's completed a couple in a row. First half, they did not give him a chance to do that, and now you can see this is what Bridgewater does. If you let him stand there, he'll pick you apart.
Oh, and so much of the talk about Teddy, his toughness, his resilience, his poise in the pocket, starting to show that here early in the 3rd. Bridgewater stepping up and delivering, and the catch made at the Kentucky 30. The extension by Eli Rogers, and Bridgewater limping at the end of that play, and Teddy's trying to run it off.
It's been well documented, especially last season. Bridgewater, end of the season, has some injury situations, toughs it out in some games, comes back, plays here, gets the ankle. Those are always tough. He's looking downfield, and the defensive lineman grabs the ankle. You can see a little banged up, but he stays in the game, see if he can run it off.
Had that sprained ankle as well as the broken wrist last year, and that gutty performance against Rutgers to get a Louisville win. The Sonoris Perry with the drive inside the 15, the 10. Perry trying to get to the corner. Stepped out of bounds, a couple of yards shy. 1st and goal, Louisville.
It's a nice run by Perry. Does not stop on the first hit, runs through a tackle, able to gain the positive yards, get down to the 2. But that's just nice, hard running by Sonoris Perry.
27 yards on that run, his longest of the season. I thought there might be a question about whether Perry stepped out of bounds or made it to the pylon. They will run the next play, and it's Perry again to the 1. Second and goal. Mr. Cobble with the tackle. Now look at Charlie Strong with that offensive line and his guys punch it in. Let's go.
You expect to see his guys run to the left side of the line. That's where they have 3 returning starters in Brown, the guard Miller, and the center Jake Smith.
Perry stays in the game. Let's see if they let him finish it off. It's Perry following his fullback hit at the goal line. Touchdown, Louisville. And Avery Williamson and the fans down in that end zone thought he stuffed him shy.
One heck of a play by Williamson, but I do think the ball crossed the goal line.
It did.
So it is a touchdown. But again, nice play by Williamson, standing up the running back, taking him back. But the running game and the offense for Louisville got churning here early in the 3rd quarter. Kentucky's going to have to answer to stay in this game.
Yeah, right there, it looks like the ball was able to break the plane. And now the replay official, Robert
Previous
Rougeau,
play is under
take a
further
closer
review.
look.
The ruling on the field is the runner broke the plane of the goal line and we had a touchdown.
They are American Athletic Conference officials, and then Rougeau is from the SEC, the replay official today. Just got to break that white line. Hard to tell if he does there, but certainly right there,
Yeah,
it looks
definitely.
like that
Ball's across the line
ball
of
is
scrimmage.
over.
I mean, across the goal line.
It was the nice 27-yard run by Perry that set
After
this
review,
up.
the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
And Sonoris Perry able to finish it up. 9 plays, going 83 yards on the first possession of the second half for Louisville. And a good mix through the air and on the ground for the Cards on that drive. John Wallace on for the extra point. Good start for Louisville coming out of the locker room for Charlie Strong. They're up over Kentucky 17-3. The touchdown for Louisville, and the ankle injury for Teddy Bridgewater. He did stay in the game. They are retaping both ankles, actually, after Mike Douglas, a defender, landed on the ankle during that last drive. After the injury, Louisville kept it on the ground to punch it in and score to make it 17-3. We'll be hearing from Paul Carcaterra in just a second down there on the Louisville sideline. So the Cards get points on their first possession of the third quarter. Kentucky will try and respond. A couple of turnovers costly for the Cats in that first half. Javis Blue with a nice return, weaving his way out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. For more on Bridgewater, here's Paul Carcaterra.
Well, Joe, you mentioned Bridgewater and the ability to play nicked up all last season. After that last drive, I watched him. He limped to the sideline. Head athletic trainer Kyle Johnson's working on him. They retaped his right ankle. He has some mobility. He was walking around. I expect him to get back, but something to look at for Kentucky also. Dante Ruff, the defensive tackle, the senior with the right shoulder injury, he's done for the day.
Thank you, Paul. Bridgewater's numbers: 12 for 20, 140 yards, and a passing touchdown. He was 4 of 5 on that last drive for 49 yards as they were able to punch it in. So now Maxwell Smith back to work. And the catch made by Blue out across the 45. One of those turnovers that we mentioned, Joey, was a fumble by Jalen Whitlow early in that first quarter. We have not seen much of him. It's been almost exclusively Smith at quarterback. And as I say it, here he comes.
And I think when Whitlow comes into the game, it tells the Louisville defense that it's a pretty good chance this is going to be a run play. You see the safety start to come downhill, start to crowd the line of scrimmage.
They only had 5 first downs in that first half. And Whitlow with the pitch to JoJo Kemp, and that'll move the chains. 1st and 10 again for the Cats. Kemp, the freshman out of DeLand, Florida. Whitlow decent throwing the football. 74% of his passes completions. His 2 touchdowns this year have both been running.
Just ran into problems in that first game. They didn't like the way the game was going offensively, and they made the switch.
Diamond backfield, and Whitlow keeps it, and he is hauled down at the line of scrimmage. Marcus Smith, the defensive ends, Smith and Malden in particular, have been good.
Yeah, extremely athletic, very disruptive. That's why it's difficult to get a quarterback like Whitlow in the game who likes to run the ball. Some of the screen read options, it's tough because their defense runs so fast, and especially the 2 defensive ends, Malden and Marcus Smith, as you mentioned.
Just the 4th quarterback change of the day, as now Smith is back in there on a passing down. 2nd and 10. Underneath George. Pushes his way out close to the 40. That'll set up a 3rd and 3 here for Kentucky.
Kentucky's done a really nice job of getting to 3rd and short. Now they have got to do a much better job of converting some of these 3rd and shorts. They're 0 for 7 on 3rd down in the first half. Important, extremely important to the offensive confidence and the defense getting the rest to turn over some of these 3rd downs.
Smith with 3 receivers. The ball fake and another drop for Kentucky. Javis Blue had the 1st down yardage, and Smith holding his right shoulder. And I think they're going to stay on the field and go for it.
Nice play call, nice throw, nice delivery. Open receiver, just have to make the play.
Drops a huge story today for Kentucky, and it looks like they're going to go here on 4th and 3 from the Louisville 41. And a flag, and it's a freebie here for Kentucky, and they convert it anyways. As the Cards appeared to jump offside. The catch made by Jeff Badette.
Offside. Defense, number 93. That penalty will be declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
I like the play call. I like the confidence in your offense to go for it. Like we said, 0 for 7 on 3rd down. We got a 4th down, we'll go for it. So we're 1-0 on 4th down.
Keeps the drive alive. They were in the red zone late in the first half and fumbled it away. And now trying to get back for more. Incomplete on the throw as Maxwell Smith was hit hard by Marcus Smith on the rush.
Have to get the ball out a little quicker. We talked about this defense as a pressure defense. They're coming. Get the ball out. Receivers open. A half a second earlier, and you can stand on your feet, deliver this ball downfield, and not skip it. The receiver was there.
Smith holding that right arm as he departed. And Whitlow is back in the game at quarterback with JoJo Kemp offset. They almost jumped again, and Whitlow will keep it option right. May have gotten 1. It's going to be 3rd and long. Preston Brown with the tackle.
Whitlow coming left, not a great feel for the game yet, hadn't played a whole lot. Maybe that's a ball he may have, you know, if he's into the flow of the game, he may have pitched that ball. But when you're coming off the sideline for an occasional play, you don't have a real good feel for the flow of the game and what's going on. And at times, decisions come up so quick, and you may not make one that you may make if you're more comfortable in the game situation. Here's a 3rd and long with your running quarterback in who may have to throw a pass.
Whitlow with some time, looking deep down the sideline, underthrows it, and it's picked off at the 1-yard line. Intercepted by Charles Gaines, and the 3rd Louisville takeaway with their passing quarterback knocked out of the game, at least momentarily, in Maxwell Smith.
Again, another turnover taking away a scoring opportunity. We see at the end of the first half in the red zone, turn the ball over on a fumble. Here, you cannot throw a late pass versus this defense. They're too fast, they're too quick, their veterans are always in the right place. That's an easy play for the corner. Can't do it. Just cannot throw a late ball in that situation. Tuck it, run it, bring on your field goal kicker, do something to get points on the board.
One of the things that Vance Bedford and the Cardinal defense was looking for, more aggression, more pressure, and certainly more takeaways today. And they've gotten them. That's the third. And it's back to Teddy Bridgewater from inside his own 5. They have scored on 2 of their last 3 possessions, and really that third possession was kind of a throwaway at the end of the first half as they let the clock expire. A much more pressing concern for Kentucky right now is Maxwell Smith and that right throwing arm of their starting quarterback. Brown is the lone setback in his own end zone. He'll get the call. Brown out to the 10. A shove forward will set him up about a yard shy, 3rd and 1, following Abraham Garcia.
Look for this Kentucky defense to crowd the line of scrimmage, maybe bring your safeties down, linebackers down. Really a blitz look. You're in a situation now where you have got to get these stops. Early on, when you were still in it, you know, when it was a closer game, only down 7, not as important. 17-3 in the 3rd. Teddy Bridgewater starting to get a rhythm. These are the plays you have to make.
Couple of tight ends. The power look. Brown with the cutback and a first down for Louisville. Out close to the 15.
Nice run by Brown. Nice cut. Some penetration by the Kentucky defensive line. Had a chance to make the stop, didn't make it. Nice run by the running back Brown to keep his feet and push forward for a first down.
He is actually their leading rusher today. 10 carries, 39 yards. Sonoris Perry's got 35. And actually it's Michael Dyer who is the 3rd man right now. The starter today, 7 rushes for 19 yards. And this is Perry. Out to the 18-yard line. Let's check in with Reese. They'll always remember Toledo and Ann Arbor, Reese. And here, the rivalry going the Cards' way with the big lead, and the big hitter to Copeland. Tripped up at the 35-yard line of Kentucky.
Two's what? And you could feel it on the last drive. Teddy Bridgewater went 4 for 5, 49 yards, starting to get into his rhythm. Looks left, nothing there. Has the calm, the cool to come clear back across the field, throw it to the right side.
Eric Dixon was able to save the touchdown, but not before the Cards strike for their longest play of the day. 47 yards. Bridgewater to Copeland. Down the middle and caught inside the 15. Gerald Christian, first down. And now Teddy's in a rhythm. And
nice
he'll
play.
Run his NASCAR look right here, stepping to the line.
Nice play by the big tight end, 6'3", 242, goes up, knows the safety's coming, snatches the ball out there, takes the hit. Nice catch.
This is where they give Teddy an opportunity to start dialing up plays himself. The veteran in his 25th start today with a lot of veterans around him. And the push inside the 10-yard line. He's got the Kentucky defense on its heels right now, and he's trying to get back to work quickly. And a drive that started back inside their own 5-yard line at the 2. The give is to Perry. Takes a hit. It is carried out of bounds around the 4. That'll bring up a 3rd and short. They can get a first down at about the 1-yard line.
That's a nice stop by the Kentucky defense, not allowing the Louisville has found some success running the ball off the right side of the defensive line. That time, defensive line stands up to set up this 3rd and short. Again, these are the situations where, as a young defense, if you can find a way to make this play and get off the field and hold this team to its field goal, you can build confidence that way.
Brown is the tailback with Bridgewater. Teddy's going to go to the air looking for his guy Parker, incomplete. Broken up by Cody Quinn. And now it's 4th and 3.
Nice play by Quinn, the corner. Only 5'10", goes against Parker, who's 6'3". Makes a really nice play in the back of the end zone for an incomplete pass. And I think this is the right call. Take the field goal, go up 20-3. Offensively, you're rolling, your defense is playing. You know, no need to take a chance here. Just get your 3 and then get your defense back on the field.
It'll be a 21-yarder for John Wallace. He's already good from 36 today. He's a perfect 4 of 4 on the year. And Wallace sends it through. 20-3. Louisville scoring on both of its possessions here in the third quarter. Maxwell Smith's got an ice bag on his shoulder. He left the game. Jalen Whitlow throwing the pick in the red zone. And then the Cards take it 92 yards the other way and tag on 3 more. That's an impressive trophy case, of course, here for Kentucky basketball with the 8 national championships. They won it 2 years ago. There's Rupp Arena, home of Kentucky basketball. Of course, Louisville won it last year. And boy, if you're Rick Pitino, you got a championship at both these schools. And right now on the football field here at Commonwealth Stadium, 20-3 Louisville. And a big third quarter. They've scored 10 points coming out of the locker room, and better this quarter than they were the entire first half, Joey, offensively.
Yeah, if there's anything that Kentucky fans did not want to see is a Teddy Bridgewater standing in the pocket, comfortable, not getting hit.
153 yards in the entire first half, 177 already here in the third quarter, and that's why they've got the 23 lead. A flag down on the kickoff, and it looks like Maxwell Smith is going to head back out there after the injury to his right arm on that last possession. We'll wait and see what the flag's all about. Ed Ardito is our referee today. Jeffrey Akers, the umpire.
There's no foul on the play for a block in the back. First down for Kentucky.
2:24 to go here in the third. Kentucky with the football comeback. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Oh, and I'm sure there are plenty of those around the state of Kentucky today. A house divided. It's SEC American Athletic this year. Next year it will be SEC versus ACC as the Cards make the move. And it is Jalen Whitlow on at quarterback. Maxwell Smith, the ice bag is off his arm. The helmet is on the sideline, but it's Whitlow at quarterback. And the give is to Kemp. And he's got a lot of running room down the sideline. Across midfield, the cutback for Kemp to the 36-yard line. 48 yards on the scoop by Kemp.
Really nice blocking off the right side of this Kentucky offensive line, and Kemp gets through there and turns on the Jets down the sideline. That's the kind of player this offense needs. Get some confidence going. Falling behind now 20-3. Have to find a way to get points on the board.
That's more than Kentucky's rushing total for the entire game up to that point. Joey, we've seen him twice today drive the ball well into the red zone, but then 2 costly turnovers in what could be a 1-score game at this point. Let's check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Well, Beth, if Kentucky's going to come back in this game, it has to be with Jalen Whitlow, the backup quarterback, who's more of a runner. Maxwell Smith on that last offensive possession hurt his right throwing shoulder. He tried to go through some tests, passing the ball. Trainer said no dice. He's got ice underneath his pads right now. I don't expect him in anytime soon.
Thank you, Paul. So it was mostly Smith in that first half and perhaps Whitlow the rest of the way today. A couple of quarterbacks that have each started a game this year. And this is Whitlow with the keeper to the 20. Popped by Calvin Pryor, the American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Week. But Whitlow picks up a dozen.
And that's the athleticism of Whitlow. When he's in the game, he's a home run hitter. He's a dual threat guy. And you can see it now. Once he gets a better feel for the game, more time to play, he looks more comfortable running that ball than he has early in the game.
1st and 10, back in the red zone for Kentucky. Those turnovers were a fumble at the 14-yard line and an interception at the 2-yard line. And now Whitlow trying to make amends. This is Kemp off the right side. Down to the 14-yard line.
And you mentioned the 2 turnovers in the red zone earlier and how different this game would be. Again, they enter the red zone. It is important, of course, get some points out. Even if it's a field goal, get some points on this drive.
Kemp slices inside the 10 and a flag down as Kemp hits the deck at the 9, or yeah, about the 9-yard line, close to the marker.
Holding. Offense.
But it's coming
number
back.
70. The 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
One of the things that Mark Stoops and Neil Brown talked to us about yesterday, Joey, how will our young guys handle adversity? Things like turnovers, things like a holding penalty here when they could have been inside the 10-yard line. How do they bounce back?
We're going to have to handle a holding call right here. This is big. Go from 2nd and 5 in the red zone to now 2nd and 15 with an offense that has struggled at times to move the ball.
Can they get into striking distance in the 4th quarter? That was a huge 3rd quarter for Teddy Bridgewater and the Louisville offense. Bridgewater with the touchdown pass, 13 yards to Devontae Parker, and then a couple of big turnovers in the red zone forced by that defense. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Well, the Thoroughbreds relaxing here in Kentucky. 20-3, 10 points for Louisville in that big 3rd quarter. 177 yards of total offense, more than they mustered the entire 1st half. Now it's Kentucky on the move, slowed momentarily by a holding penalty, but Whitlow trying to get it all back, and he wisely runs out of bounds. One quarterback already hurt for Kentucky. That's Maxwell Smith, who is trying to warm up on the sideline.
That's a smart play by Whitlow. Looks downfield, doesn't see anybody, tuck it and run. That's the difference. That's the added value of Whitlow in the game. When he does pull it down, he has the athletic ability to outrun guys in the secondary and gain yards.
0 for 9 on 3rd down conversions. They've already gone to 4th down once today to convert. Whitlow against the 4-man rush into the end zone. Dropped, incomplete. Jeff Badette. And on 4th and 4, they will send out the field goal unit to get some points.
And I like the call. You know, we talked about getting to the red zone, turning the ball over, not getting points, and what that does to your team. In this situation, we're in the red zone. Take the 3 points just to get your offense a little bit more confidence here, get some points on the board.
30-yard attempt for Joel Mansour, who is good from 37 today. Jared Leap, the holder. And the kick from Mansour is good. 20-6, Kentucky getting some points on the board, but the Cards with the lead in the 4th.
Nothing wrong with the first place guy.
And the last 2 champs are out of the field, right? You got
Keselowski's out.
and Edwards are out.
Yep. Unfortunately, 2 forward guys out of it.
The kickoff to the Cards. Robert Clark looking for some space. Out to about the 17-yard line. That'll bring Teddy Bridgewater on, but first it's the Aflac Duck. And our trivia question, how many top 25 teams in the current poll do not have a top 25 opponent on their schedule. We've talked about some teams that might have the opportunity to go undefeated because their schedule isn't necessarily the hardest out there. How many top 25 teams do not have a top 25 foe to face this year? We'll have the answer for you coming up in a little bit. Michael Dyer is the setback behind Teddy Bridgewater. And Dyer will get the carry, and he's got room up the middle. Michael Dyer, his best run of the day, and a first down for the Cards. Let's check in with Reese. Thank you, Reese, for the Children of the Corn reference and the update. 20-6 the score here for Louisville. They've looked awfully good with Bridgewater leading the way here in the second half, and Teddy will try and run for the first down yardage. Tripped up, but he falls on the Louisville sideline. His ankle did get nicked up, the left ankle. Earlier today, they retaped it and sent Teddy back out there.
Nice coverage again. Nice job of driving Bridgewater out of the pocket. Maybe took his worst fall over there on the sideline, but gets up, bounces back. He's a tough guy. They know what kind of player he is from last season. You mentioned earlier, you know, with the injuries. Those kind of things, when you see your quarterback bounce back, come back in hurt and play games, it energizes your entire team.
They have scored on both of their second half possessions, a touchdown and a field goal. That last scoring drive, they started back on their own 2-yard line. And Dyer with the carry across midfield. They were hoping, Joey, they might find 2 guys to start carrying a heavier load in the backfield, but all 3 have been about equal so far today.
Yeah, there's not much room to run in the first half. I think the Kentucky defensive line did a really nice job, but here in the second half, the run game with all 3 running backs, like you mentioned, Brown, Dyer, and Perry, have found success running the ball. So I don't know if they've learned anything on who their #1 guy is, because all 3 guys have looked pretty good here in the second half.
Bridgewater, certainly the #1 guy. Quarterback, he's looking deep. Incomplete. Overthrowing Devontae Parker, who is their deep threat. Cody Quinn on the coverage was a couple of steps behind.
Bridgewater would love to have this one back. Has Parker open, has a couple steps on the corner. Lays out just a little out of reach. The placement, though, of the ball right to the outside shoulder shows his progression and his ability to go downfield has improved greatly this year.
Bridgewater 14 of 24, 211 yards and a touch. Dominique Brown is the tailback. 3rd and 2. Play action, Bridgewater on the rollout, the pump fake. He'll tuck it and run with it. He's got the first down, diving inside the 40 to the 36-yard line. So some good leg work on this drive from Bridgewater, and a pickup of 13.
Yeah, showing the athleticism. Play action pass again, roll out, tight ends there, guy in his face, has the ability to pump fake and bring it down. And then, as we said earlier, a good enough athlete to get you a first down, maybe not hit the home run with his feet, but knows how to get yards and move the chains.
Big second half for Louisville's offense. 2 scoring drives of over 80 yards and a big hole for Sonoris. Perry inside the 10, the 5, touchdown Louisville. 36 yards on the run for the senior.
Big offensive line, pull 2 guys around the edge, and now they're starting to get movement versus that defensive line. Holes are opening up, and then you give Perry a chance to hit this secondary on the run, and he has enough speed to get in the end zone.
Wide receiver made a terrific block to help spring him. 3 possessions in the second half, a couple of touchdowns and a field goal, and Louisville has opened it up 27-6. As Sonoris Perry strikes from 36. Sonoris Perry with the nice run to finish off that scoring drive. 9 carries for 82 yards now for Perry. as they went 6 plays and 83 yards. Only took them 2.5 minutes. The offense has been rolling in the second half for Louisville. 3 touches, 3 scores. Line drive kickoff on the run. It's Blue. Gets out across the 20 to the 24. Let's revisit our Aflac trivia question. How many top 25 teams do not have a top 25 opponent on their schedule this year?
I'm gonna take a swing here, and I'm not sure, but I'm gonna take a swing at one of the Big 12 teams like Oklahoma. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take it. Well, we know Louisville.
Oh, you're all right. So you're counting Louisville, so you're going with 2.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say
right.
I'm gonna say
2 top 25s that don't have a big-time foe. Actually, it is just the one, Joseph. It is only Louisville that does not have a top 25 opponent. That's why the Cards have to hope they run the table and really hope that no one else does if they want to have a shot at playing for the national championship.
Offense, number 78. The 5-yard penalty. First down.
Fewest top 25 opponents on the schedule as of right now. Louisville doesn't have one. Miami and Wisconsin with just 2 each.
It'd have made me look a little better if Oklahoma could at least made this
made
list.
That list,
not
yeah.
even there. But yeah, and we talked about Louisville's schedule, and you're right. It is going to take some losses above them for them to move up, and maybe even 2 losses by some teams, some of the SEC teams.
And when you talk also about Miami and Wisconsin, they also could add another ranked opponent if they reach their league championship games. And there is a look at the Cardinals' schedule. And when if you take Eastern Kentucky out and you just count the FBS teams on that schedule, they're only 7-11 so far this year. And you're really looking at Houston and Central Florida as really the stiff competition. That's why it was so big for them coming in here against an SEC team to try and get a win, as Ryan Timmons makes the catch and a first down for the Cats.
And a really nice throw by Whitlow, sticking this ball in the seam before the safety can get there and make a play.
Whitlow stepping up. Jalen's going to throw, and he's got a man downfield and a little bit behind Raymond Sanders, who couldn't hold on. Lorenzo Malden again bringing some pressure on the quarterback.
A ball a little bit behind, another drop. You know, that's a running back downfield, ball behind. You know, a lot of times you don't expect running backs to make that type of catch. But in this situation, you know, when you've struggled on offense and you're Whitlow, you need Sanders to make that catch for you.
Short gain for Whitlow. I don't know if it's better or worse, Joey, in your career to lose a ball game and knowing that some of the problems were self-inflicted. Certainly the drops and the turnovers in the red zone today for Kentucky. Things that the mistakes they made that are fixable if they can start to come together.
Absolutely. There are some positives in this game that were unexpected. The way they played in the first half, you know, having a chance at 10-3, no one would ever expect it. So there are some positives with this young team that Coach Stoops can go back in, look at the film, and talk to his team about the things we did right. But on the flip side of that, there are some very ugly things that you just cannot do no matter who you are. You turn it over 2 times in the red zone, it's tough to win. You go 0 for 7 on 3rd down in the first half, it's tough to win.
Here's a 4th down now, under 10 minutes to go for Kentucky. They need a couple of yards. Go on the ground, JoJo Kemp. He's got a couple and then some to the 35. First down, Cats. Alvin Pryor with the tackle. Kemp stays in there alongside Whitlow, so you're talking about a freshman and a sophomore in the backfield right now. That was a 12-yard gain. Receiver screen too far ahead of Javis Blue.
Nice run on the 4th down off the right side of the line. Give the offensive line credit for getting the push, creating that hole, and converting their 2nd, 4th down. They've been pretty good on 4th down today.
Yeah,
if they could just find a way, you know, to be better on 3rd down, then this may be a different game.
Raymond Sanders stays out there. 0 for 11, Joey, on 3rd down today. More running room up the middle. Timmons is a guy that they use at receiver, and they'll also try and get him some touches. The handoff. They'll convert there. The freshman out of Frankfort, Kentucky. From the 22 now on the move. Option left. Whitlow keeps. Wrapped up at the 21 by Preston Brown.
Nice play by Preston Brown in the open field, the leading tackler for this Louisville defense. You know, out there with an athlete, and Whitlow one-on-one makes the play. They had a guy for pitch. That is very good defense, because Brown had the quarterback and then the guy had the pitch, and that's the way you got to play option football on defense.
On 2nd down, a receiver screen for Blue. Nice block in front of him. Blue spinning, and a flag down as Blue goes down around the 11-yard line. That would be enough for a 1st down if it stands. They had a holding penalty
Personal
last
foul.
time in the red
Shot
zone.
block, number 72. 15-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And we talked about the mistakes, the turnovers they've had in the red zone. And here in the 2nd half, it's been penalties when they've gotten in the red zone. Earlier on the other side in the 3rd quarter, had a holding call, made it a 2nd and long, ended up settling for a field goal. And then now a chop block moves them outside of the so-called red zone.
2nd and 19 at the 31.
Well, it'll set up a 2nd and 19 as the clock continues to roll, approaching 8 minutes. Whitlow scrambling, and he'll run out of bounds after a short gain.
Smart play by Whitlow. Nothing open downfield. Don't take a chance. You're close to the red zone. Don't throw it late. Get a turnover. Tuck it. Live to play another down.
Kentucky trying to score quickly and then do something they have not been able to do so far in the 2nd half, and that is stop Teddy Bridgewater and the Louisville offense. They've scored on all 3 of their possessions, as Teddy tries to go 3-0 against Kentucky in his career. There's only been one guy in the history of this rivalry that's done that. Mike Hartline, Kentucky's quarterback, in 08, 09, and 10 won 3 games against a rival. And now here's another 4th down and long coming up. Maxwell Smith, we saw almost him exclusively in the 1st half, then injured his right arm. It's been mostly Whitlow in the 2nd half.
And this is an interesting call. They've had some success on 4th down, but those have been much short. On 4th and long, I may consider kicking this field goal and getting points.
Trips to the left. Whitlow looking downfield. He's got to get inside the 15. He legs it out and finds the 1st down marker and gets there.
Or you let Whitlow tuck it and run for 14 yards and make a nice play. And again, Whitlow shows his athleticism. Outruns the secondary for 15 yards. Nothing open downfield.
He got inside the 10, so it's 1st and goal. The receiver screen is Blue inside the 5 to the 3. As Kentucky tries to punch it in for the 1st time today. 5th catch to Blue today. Under 6.5 to go on a drive that has extended 13 plays in 5 minutes. Whitlow keeps, throws, touchdown. Alex Montgomery, the first of his career for the true freshman from Weston, Florida. Well done by Jalen Whitlow to keep the drive alive with a couple of 4th down conversions. 14 plays, 75 yards. And are we about to see an onside kick here? Here's the score on the nice fake Whitlow to Montgomery. Kentucky kickoff when we come back. That's what they're playing for today. The Governor's Cup, it's been in Louisville the last couple of years. And they restarted this rivalry back in 1994. It's been close throughout. Kentucky with the slight edge, 14-11. And next year, they're going to be moving this to the end of the season. This will become a big ball game over the Thanksgiving weekend starting next year. Will Teddy Bridgewater still be a part of it, or will Teddy be moving on? So much excitement around Louisville. You know, they're trying to temper expectations, and Charlie Strong and his staff have done a terrific job of staying in the moment, getting these guys to buy into one game at a time, but certainly swirling around them a lot of talk about a pursuit of perfection and the possibility of playing for the national championship.
And number one, we would all be extremely surprised to see Teddy Bridgewater wearing a Louisville uniform next season at this time. But you're right, it is game by game. They can't do anything about the schedule, who's on it. Just go out and try to win every single game.
Kick that one into no man's land in the middle of the field, and Louisville was able to get it taken down around the 10-yard line is Robert Clark, and a penalty flag as well. So they choose not to go straight onside kick right there. There's also a flag down at the line of scrimmage. And perhaps some of the Kentucky guys a bit overzealous in their charge upfield. Got ahead of the kicker. They're talking to Louisville as if, which one do you want?
Offsides on the kicking team. During the return, an illegal block in the back on the receiving team. We have offsetting fouls. We'll re-kick.
Well, they're going to re-kick, and Joey, is this something that Kentucky needs to rethink? Do you go straight up onside kick right here?
6 minutes left. I think because of the way Teddy Bridgewater and this Louisville offense has looked in the second half, you may want to think onside kick, because I don't know that you can still have the confidence that you can stop this offense. They've looked too good. They've looked too comfortable. They moved the ball. They put points on the board. They've had 3 possessions, 83 yards, 94 yards, and 83 yards. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. So defensively, you think, we can't stop them.
They might not get it back.
If we give it to them again, then Teddy Bridgewater is warm at this point, and we may not get it back. So you may want to think onside kick.
Why give them the chance, you know, to hold on to it for the next 6 minutes?
If you're going to go for it on 4th and 14,
you might be the best player in the country.
If that's your thinking, 4th and 14, we're going for it, then I think the thought that goes with that, if you're successful, is onside kick.
Mansour will have another crack at it here. And again, he kicks it short. Perhaps looking for a hop and a fumble, and a big tackle made around the 16-yard line. They cannot jar the ball loose, so it will be Bridgewater with a chance to try and run out the clock here. 6:13 to go, and these are the drives in the second half. They've scored every time they've had the ball, and they've chewed up a ton of yardage, including a 10-play, 95-yard drive that resulted in a field goal. That was after they intercepted a pass at the 2-yard line.
It's almost tough to go 95 yards and not score a touchdown.
One touchdown pass today for Bridgewater. That coming in the second quarter, his 10th of the season. And otherwise, they've done some damage on the ground, and they'll keep it that way here to try and work the clock. It's Michael Dyer with the carry. They didn't run it real well in the first half. It's been a different story here in the second as Dyer picks up 15 more.
Yeah, and that's why you may want to, that's what you think onside kick after the score, because they've been so successful running the ball. And if they can reel off 10, 15 yards a run with less than 6 minutes left in this game, down 2 scores, you're in trouble.
Dyer's going to get it again, sweeping left. Michael Dyer, short gain. Clock continues to wind down. $1:59. And now on second down, Bridgewater to the air, and he's got his man, Damian Copeland, down the sideline. He's shoved out of bounds with under 5 to go.
And we knew coming in, if Bridgewater had time to stand in the pocket and look over the coverage, he would complete passes, and he's done that here in the second half. The running game has taken the pressure off of the pass game, and then Bridgewater's ability to stand there and just read it, stay calm, doesn't matter what's going on around me as long as they're not hitting me, and deliver passes downfield has been what has been so difficult for this Kentucky defense in the second half.
25 yards on that completion for Bridgewater to Copeland. He's going to go back to this guy. Dumps it off underneath Dominique Brown out of the backfield. Another first down for Louisville inside the 25. Well, back-to-back passes trying to work the clock. Maybe they're trying to go for the points instead. Is this a style point situation, thinking further down the road for this Louisville team?
I don't think so. I think this is a situation where Kentucky just drove down and scored a touchdown. You're only up 14 at this point. There's a lot of time left in this game. Offensively, we keep our foot down on the pedal and try to put points on the board.
34-13 would look better in the newspaper tomorrow morning for sure. And Bridgewater still out there with 3:47 to go here in the fourth. And we'll take a timeout. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. We welcome you back to college football on ESPN, presented by Cars.com. 27-13, Louisville with the lead over Kentucky. 3:47 to go in the ball game, and the Cards trying to put the finishing touches on the Cats. Bridgewater's got Louisville on the move once again. And they will go to the air again. Bridgewater looking to the end zone. Parker out of bounds. A step past the end line. 3rd and 7.
Yeah, this ball has to come out a little earlier. Overshoots the end zone by a couple yards. But if he throws this ball earlier, he has a chance to get it inbounds.
Third and 7 for Louisville. Parker and Rogers to the near side. Brown deep behind Bridgewater. Here comes the rush from the end. Same play to Parker, and knocked loose on the coverage by Ashley Lowry. Actually may have got his helmet in there to deflect that one away. 4th down.
And Bridgewater throws off his back foot, doesn't step into this throw, and leaves it a little short. Again, has Parker open, doesn't throw it out far enough this time.
Bridgewater wanted that one. Instead, they will try and settle for the field goal here. A 37-yarder for John Wallace. And what would be his 3rd of the day. And it's blocked. Kentucky got a piece of it. And the Cards come up empty. Do they have enough time? 3:27 to go, and they need a couple scores. The Wolverines in big trouble against Akron. Down 3 for Michigan late in that game. And the ball is out. The fumble by Whitlow, and I think Kentucky was able to get it back. Lorenzo Malden forced it out. And the Cats rather recovered. John Toth, the center, after a couple of Louisville guys had a shot at it.
And we talked about that matchup of Darian Miller versus Lorenzo Malden on the end, and Malden definitely won that war.
Whitlow over the top. Oh, and the catch is made by Javis Blue. It looked like it went right through the hands of the DB, who was turning around late.
Nice play by
2:50 to
Blue.
go.
Nice play by Blue, bringing his hands up late so the defensive back, who didn't have a chance to look for the ball, didn't know it was coming.
24 yards on the gain. Whitlow with time, and another first down across midfield. Good yardage after the catch from Ryan Timmons, who also stops the clock. From the Louisville 40, and down goes Whitlow, and flags fly from all parts.
Yeah, I think Mark got an early start.
Boy, think about a couple of costly penalties inside the red zone, 2 turnovers inside the red zone that could have been worth 14 points for Kentucky, potentially.
We have some offsetting fouls. Offsides in the defense. Face mask on the defense. Holding on the offense. Penalties offset. Replay. First down.
Well, that's why the flags were coming from everywhere.
That is a bad rule.
Did they have
one penalty crosses out two
for
penalties
one, yeah,
by the other team. That's a bad rule.
Cost him some time on the clock as well. Pass is caught by Kemp to the 29-yard line. Kentucky has 2 timeouts as we approach 2 minutes.
And Kemp, the freshman running back, was thinking get out of bounds and stop the clock, but realized get a first down also stops the clock.
He's had a nice day for them today. Whitlow flushed out of there by the rush right up the middle, and Whitlow will get the first down and get out. 1:48 to go. Well engineered here by Jalen Whitlow.
Way to sacrifice your body by Montgomery, the receiver, on the sideline, getting a block and just taking a heavy hit to do it.
Whitlow has the pass batted up in the air, incomplete. DeAndres Mount got his mid on it.
And not a bad play for Kentucky because it stops the clock. And now they go 2nd and 10. They're still inside the red zone with 3 more down to make a play. Now they can think about it with the clock stopped and have time to make a play call.
4 receivers with Sanders in the backfield. They're all over Whitlow, fires it up the middle, incomplete. 3rd and 10 for Kentucky.
Had a screen play set up, and Kemp just got caught up in the offensive line and defensive line and never materialized. But again, it's an incomplete pass, which stops the clock. And now they have to find a way to get 10 yards and 2 downs.
They are 0 for 12 on 3rd down today. They've actually been better on 4th down. Maxwell Smith, their pocket passer at quarterback, out with an injury. It's been all Whitlow here. And that pass incomplete. Deflected out of bounds by Terrell Floyd, and they're down to 1 more chance here. 4th and 10.
And they've been darn good on 4th down.
How about 3 for 3?
Perfect 3 for 3 on 4th down, so they feel pretty comfortable. Whitlow's, hey, this time it's only 10. Last time it was 14. This time's only 10.
Got to get down to the 8-yard line. Whitlow, here comes the pressure, and down he goes from the backside. He does not see Lorenzo Malden coming. And they turn it over on downs. And a huge play by the junior out of Atlanta.
Malden has been huge today. Again, speed rush, gets around Darian Miller, gets to the quarterback. If there's a place that Whitlow feels comfortable, it's his backside. The best player is Darian Miller, the left tackle, is supposed to have his backside. This time gets beat. Malden makes a really nice play, gets his hands off of him, cuts the corner, and gets to the quarterback.
Louisville now will try and run out the final minute 25 and improve to 3-0 and drop the Cats to 1-2. And for Kentucky, their next 3 games also against ranked opponents. And now it's time for our Discover Game Changer, brought to you by Discover Card, and it's Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, what a difference Teddy Bridgewater was in the second half. Looked a little unrattled, only 8 for 15 in the first half, but has come out in this second half and led this offense to 3 scores, been comfortable in the pocket, 2 touchdowns and a field goal scoring. He's been the Teddy Bridgewater we expected to see in the second half for Louisville.
16 of 28 for Teddy, 250 yards and a touchdown, his 10th of the season. And that'll put him over the 1,000-yard mark already this year.
In this game, they just couldn't finish it. And then second half, Teddy Bridgewater's just been outstanding, and this offense has been able to run the ball, which is what they wanted to do coming into the game.
A tale of 2 halves indeed for Louisville as the offense was rolling coming out of the locker room. Some of the other Heisman hopefuls, including Taj Boyd, who looked awfully good in week 1 against Georgia. Marcus Mariota running that quack attack. And Johnny Manziel taking on Alabama last year. A couple of touchdowns against the Tide. That game coming up here this afternoon down in College Station. And for Teddy Bridgewater and company, Florida International at home next week, and then an open date to close out September. And Bridgewater will take a knee, and for the 3rd year in a row, the Governor's Cup is in Louisville as they get the win over their in-state rivals, 27-13. Bridgewater with a touchdown pass. Louisville ends up rushing for 229 yards. And Sonoris Perry hits the century mark.